Amazing. So we wanted to bring to you something really incredible because we recognize that Easter is coming up in just 20 days. Easter is April 21st, so not long before Easter. I'm gonna move this over here and put this right in the center, so bear with me. And because of that, many of us are looking for that centerpiece dish for our Easter dinner. And we thought, what better way to celebrate than with Pureland Meat Company's best-selling Angus Boneless Prime Rib Roast. Melt in your mouth, so flavorful, and most importantly, because it's aged for a minimum of 21 days, it is mouth-watering and tender. The level of tenderness on this is gonna just blow your mind away. We're giving you, and I wanna get it right, so let me just refer to my cards. It's a 4 to a 4.5 pound of our rib roast, our prime rib roast. And that will serve approximately 16 people. So I don't know how many people are coming, or you wanna have leftovers, it's gonna be perfect. Joining us for the presentation is an expert. He's an Emmy award-winning expert, and this is Tim Wilkins that's joining us. Tim told me something new. I've known Tim for...
Almost 9 years?
Almost 9 years,
yeah.
10 years. But here's something that I learned. I did not know that Tim's family owned a butcher shop, and that as a kid, you grew up in a butcher shop.
I grew up working in there. I wasn't even tall enough to see over the meat counter, so I used to stand on a little milk crate to help people. We only carried certified black Angus, like this meat.
Oh my gosh, can't wait to try it.
I remember people come in and they wanted for the holidays, they wanted that centerpiece.
You gotta have something special.
Something special. When people walk in and when it comes out of the oven, they go,
oh, yes.
Oh, and this is that. This is that beautifully marbled black Angus. When you see, and here's what we've done, because I know so many people are worried, oh, prime rib, look at this.
Oh my gosh.
I don't want to mess it up.
Oh, that's perfect.
We have made this look at the juice.
It's perfect.
We've made this foolproof. Now, look at the marbling on it. I'm gonna show you this raw in a minute so you can see. Black Angus is known for its marbling and its exceptional tenderness. It's aged actually for 28 days. It's wet aged for 28 days, which means you're not losing any of the meat, any of the juice. You're keeping all that flavor in there. And what you're doing is you're making that rich beef taste come out, and how it's so tender. Here, let's cut another one, because I know everybody over at the table says, bring us some hot stuff.
I want to talk about this because, I mean, when you look at this, obviously this is an investment, and there's so many people that love prime rib, I mean, but typically you eat it on a special occasion, an anniversary.
A fancy brunch,
right?
A big dinner.
Valentine's Day dinner, or Christmas, or Thanksgiving. The truth is, a lot of people are afraid to get it wrong. So let's talk about what's different about this prime rib versus what I might find in the supermarket. Okay. Let's talk about that first. And then secondly, if I'm afraid, if I've, never ventured to do the prime rib because I'm like, oh my gosh, I don't want to mess that up because I pay way too much money for it. How do I nail it?
I'm gonna actually work backwards on that one for you. They have included a couple things. First and foremost, I'll show you the butter coating. We're gonna put on this in a minute. The recipe is on that, as well as the recipe for the au juice, but I'm gonna turn this around, and I think we have a graphic for this. If not, there is a cooking chart that has made this so incredibly easy. You pick the time you literally want to put this on the table for your guests. Preheat your oven to 500. Put it in there for 25 minutes, turn the oven off. Here's the hard part right here. Let it sit for 2 hours without opening that oven. I did this on Sunday for my daughter and I while my wife was away. I will tell you, it was the hardest thing not to open that oven. Let it sit for 2 hours. Take it out, let it rest for 10 minutes. It will be perfect. The other thing they did, Marlo, and I'm gonna show you this, is they coated it with the recipe that they have for their beautiful herb butter. Let the butter soften. Rosemary, thyme, 4 cloves of garlic, some salt, and some black pepper. And the flavor on this, I will tell you, is absolutely mind-blowing. It doesn't get any easier. I actually like to use a spoon because it's really easy to use to spread like that. I do icing like that for cakes. This is absolutely glorious. Again,
I want to try some.
Okay, let's get you some. All right.
We want to eat on good eating.
I'm really holding you off too much, aren't I?
That's okay. We're going to eat and then we're going to plate some because this is really special. Oftentimes, am I right about that? A lot of times we don't have this decadent prime rib unless there's like an expensive brunch.
Right.
Right, and that carving station, the line is always a mile long because everybody wants to get that slice of heaven.
Oh,
Marlo.
You know, isn't that true?
Everybody's always in line, and they always have it under this big heated light.
Yes.
Now you can have it at home.
And at brunches, it's almost like the focal point. It's like the center stage. Do you agree with me though
it's
that
a presentation piece? You pull it out of the oven, you come to the table like Tim does.
And everybody oohs and ahs. So come on over with me.
So,
wow, nice.
There we are.
You made up for
I
it.
cut it up for you too.
Thank
now,
you.
let's talk about this. All this is certified Black Angus, grown in small Midwestern family farms.
Oh my gosh.
I know. Let's give you a minute.
Yeah.
Let's give you a minute.
You know why? Because I knew because of the aging process that it would be tender. It is really mouth-watering, and that is something, I mean, we were talking about what's the difference between what we're offering you versus what you're gonna find in a supermarket. It's this restaurant quality level of the foods and the fact that there are no antibiotics in these foods.
Steroid-free, hormone-free.
Oh my gosh,
now,
it's so good. Did you guys get a chance to try it? It's so delicious, isn't it?
We'll take more.
Now, Marla, let me show you real quick what really, you're gonna look in the store and you're gonna say, well, they're $12.99 a pound in the store, but what you're paying for is 5 to 6 pounds of bones on a 10-pound roast.
You know what, that's a good point. And so let's show you our difference here.
You're also paying for that fat cap that's on. These are all hand trimmed to perfection. So you're getting all that extra fat off, you're getting those bones off and leaving nothing but the beautiful Black Angus, which by the way, when you talk about fancy steakhouses, this is what you're getting in a fancy steakhouse. And with the angle right here, let me turn it just a touch. You see that beautiful marbling that the Black Angus is known for? That's what makes it so tender and gives you that beautiful rich beef flavor.
Okay, so you can decide to get this right in time before Easter.
Yes.
So you can buy it now, you can get it in time for Easter if you'd like to. You've got an opportunity to secure this amazing value. Here's what I love, and I'm gonna be very honest with you. How many of you have done prime rib at home? I never have. Have you guys done, anybody? Okay, so they have. So both Bonnie and Chris, as well as Joan, have done it. I've never done it, and I'll tell you why. I was always so afraid I'm gonna spend all this money and I'm not gonna nail it. So the little card that comes with it, and I'm gonna show this to you, which is what which was what Tim showed us. Look at this. They've made it so easy for somebody like me. They tell you exactly what time to put it in, depending on what time you want to serve it. They tell you the exact temperature and when to take it out, how long to let it rest, so that you get restaurant quality every single time. And here's what we imagine for some of you. As a meal, these are just some ideas for Easter or for Passover. What about just a side of Brussels sprouts? And a side of just wonderful, fingerling potatoes. That's a perfect combination for Thanksgiving. Or a side of your green beans here.
Look
or
at how
on a
beautiful
sandwich.
This is, Marlo. Now, when I'm putting this out for my guests, the other thing I love to do, the au jus recipe that's part of this.
Comes with it.
Comes with it. Let's drizzle some of that right there. So if you are making beautiful
that looks good.
prime rib for your guests, you've got some leftovers the next day, you want to make some kind of a hot French dip, you want to make this some kind of a beautiful Philly sandwich.
Tim, we do have to wrap up our presentation, but we want to remind you, you can have it shipped now, or if you'd like to, you can have it shipped by April 15th. And so here's what you need to know. If you're buying it today and you want it shipped immediately, you'll have it by this weekend. Okay, or you can get it on our auto ship if you'd like to. So you decide, and that is totally customizable for you. I want to thank you so much. Tim, thank you. Bring us more.
Oh, absolutely. How do you like yours?
Exactly the way that you made it.
Exactly the way that I made it.
Yes,
perfect. Well, let's get you another piece then.
As you do that, I've got to head over because we're going to talk about dessert. After all this protein.